expert news and views on the Lowcountry real estate scene. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. We're talking now about interviewing a real estate agent. I just went through the law of emotional proximity, which very simply states that the closer you are to making a purchase or making some sort of purchase or selling decision, the less you tend to care about who the person is that assists you with that process, so long as they appear competent. Because for the majority of people in this world, we shop based on convenience, not based on the qualifications of the person that we hire to determine, am I doing everything I possibly can to earn the most money possible when I sell my house, or get the best deal possible when I buy a house, or fully understand this process, save money along the way, have very little amounts of stress. And by the way, there's no such thing as a stress-free transaction. That's one of those little phrases that real estate agents love to use. No such thing. Sorry, there's an element of stress in everything we do, aside from, brushing your teeth. But hey, maybe you have a dental issue that causes stress. I don't know. But the point is, there's always going to be stress. You need to have an agent navigate you through that process and tell you how to save money along the way. That is the difference between a really skilled real estate agent and the ones that just don't have a lot of experience. There are agents that claim, hey, I can sell your home for X% more than the next guy. And what that really means is that, first of all, just because somebody lists their house with me does not mean that my listings are now magically worth more money than the next real estate agent that's going to sell a home very similar to it. What it means is that I have found ways of saving my clients money throughout the course of this process. A little bit here, a little bit there, some here, a good chunk here. And at the end of the day, it amounts to thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of savings or earnings or cash in your pocket. Or if you're a buyer, it comes in the form of a lower monthly payment or less of a down payment or more equity. And so let me give you an idea of what I would look for if I were going to hire somebody to sell a property. Let's say that I owned a property in Atlanta and I need to sell that property. I'm certainly not going to go and get my license and sell property in Atlanta just to sell my own house. I'm going to rely on a professional to do that. And, I had a great meeting with some folks earlier in the week, and they had tried selling their home previously, and they were just discouraged by it. They'd like to sell their property. And after going through the process and what I do and how it's just so much different from what the majority of people are doing in this market, they called me out to their house. We signed the paperwork. And then at the end of it, the seller gives me a hug. And I'm just here to tell you that we as real estate agents, that's some of the stuff that we live for. I mean, we want to make people happy. And it's such a cutthroat industry at times with, hey, well, I do this. Well, I do that. Well, I do this better. Well, I've done this more. The goal here is to accomplish your goals, to have a genuine care for what you're trying to accomplish. The seller wants to know, or the buyer wants to know, hey, can I trust you? Are you competent in this area? Can you get me what I want? Do I like you? It's probably another one there. But as a listing agent, as somebody that for myself personally represents sellers, I have agents on my team that represent buyers. The best thing that somebody can ask me is, Brian, what should I do? Because it means they trust me. And you don't earn trust, in my opinion, without accountability, without doing what you say you're going to do. And so for me, if I'm going to hire somebody to sell my property in a different market, the first thing I want somebody that's straightforward. I want them to be honest. I want them to be trustworthy and somebody with integrity. I need to be able to trust this person to have my best interests in mind when they represent me and talk about my house to the general public or talk about my house to another agent. I mean, I can't tell you the number of agents that say things like, hey, bring me, you think you can get your buyer up to this? I think I can get my seller to take it. They're cutting out equity from you, the seller, and you don't know it because they want to do a deal. And it's the truth, okay? And any real estate agent that's listening that's been in this business for long enough knows that there are agents out there that will do what needs to be done to earn a commission and move on. Second thing I'm looking for is I want somebody full-time, full service. I don't want somebody that also has another job and that can't support me. So if they have a support staff in place, even better. But I want them focused on selling my house. And if they have a team and it's run properly, even better. They also need to be selling a lot of houses. I'm not talking about just a few a year. I'm talking about multiple homes a month. They need to have a proven track record of not just selling houses, but selling them for close to the asking price and in a relatively short amount of time, which is really important to point out for just a moment. There are plenty of agents out there over the course of the past several years that have really kind of become professional listing takers, I like to call them. The more signs they have in the yard, the more their business grows organically, the more buyer leads they have call their properties, the more business ultimately they get through leveraging the signs they have in the ground. When somebody hires me to sell their house, I want to sell their house. The upfront expense alone is unattractive to me because I spend a lot of money to market my listings and prepare them for the market. And so I'm investing in the property and in the process to earn a commission on the back end. If it's the folks out there that aren't really doing much, that are out taking listings left and right, that don't really care if it sells or not. I mean, would they love a closing? Sure. But those are the ones to watch out for, in my opinion. And they also need to be selling at very close to what they were priced at. You've got all these agents out there that'll take a property that's way overpriced, that has no business being on the market at that price, if they had done their research. But the property sits and it languishes, and then the seller gets frustrated, and then they hire another agent, and you hope that the second agent is the one that's going to tell them the truth about the price so that home ultimately sells. But there are plenty of instances in which the price isn't an issue at all. I mean, over 60% of the listings that we sell were previously listed by other agents. And not a lot of them have huge price issues. It's positioning. It's marketing. Is that agent doing everything they can be doing to sell that property, or are they on a total set it and forget it autopilot approach to selling your house? Meaning they just put the sign in the yard, it's on the MLS, and they're just waiting for other agents to show it. That's all that means. Maybe they do an open house. Maybe they post it on their Facebook page. That's about it. So I need somebody that's going to be a marketing expert. If I'm going to sell my house, you should look for that in a listing agent. And I'm not going to tell you everything that we do from a marketing perspective because it's extensive. But when people ask us the question, hey, what are you doing specifically to find a buyer for my house? We have very, very good answers to that. And those answers are based off of our systems, our processes, our marketing platforms that cost a lot of money. And so as our business has grown, so has our marketing budget, so has our ability to expose our properties to the world and then create systems so that when somebody raises their hand and they say, hey, I'm interested in this property, we have the ability to capture their information quickly, have an intelligent conversation with them, and turn them from an online shopper into an actual buyer for your house. That whole process, I could talk until I'm blue in the face about, because it's something I'm really passionate about, is the marketing side of this business. But I need somebody that's going to be a marketing expert. Also, of course, need somebody that can effectively price a house based on market trends and neighborhood comps, which is always really tough for a lot of agents to do. I can't tell you the number of agents that contact me and they say, hey, Brian, what'd you use for comps for this property? Which is just a tell that agent is inexperienced in valuing real estate in that particular area. And it's great for me because I get to then justify our price. If you're an agent and you're listening, don't ask the other agent for comps unless you absolutely have to. It's just going to show them that you don't really know how to price that property. I'm going to use that information and I'm going to justify my seller's price. I represent the seller. That's my job. Obviously, I want somebody passionate about my job. If you've listened to this program, you know how passionate I am about real estate and about informing people and giving them good direction, understanding the process, the market, and creating realistic expectations for yourself so that you can win. And I'm just going to leave it at that. And I want somebody, quite frankly, I want somebody that's going to respect my time as the seller. I want somebody that's going to respect their own time and that runs an efficient business. This is so much of what matters in the process of selling real estate that never gets talked about is, does that agent run their business like a business? Or have they set up a house of cards that as soon as something goes wrong, everything crumbles? You see it time and time again because real estate agents are not trained to be business owners. They're trained on scripts and how to get you to sign on the dotted line. There are very few of them that actually have business acumen. And so that kind of brings me to my last point. I want somebody that knows how to negotiate and play the game. Real estate is like playing poker. You don't know the other side, the other side's hand. Now, I have ways of finding that information out in a somewhat tricky way that works, but it's my firm belief that an experienced agent can both earn and save you money. And it comes in many forms. Not spending money unnecessarily on your home before it hits the market, or pricing it correctly, understanding the motivation of the buyer on the other side of the table, knowing when to push and when to give. There are all these different factors that go into the process. But if you're thinking about selling your house, let's talk. Let's talk more about the incentives that I offer and how we approach this process differently from the majority of agents in this town and what's working well for us. So give me a call at 843-345-1273. Again, that's 843-345-1273. Or go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. And of course, text the word WTMA to 555-888. That's WTMA to 555-888. And I'll send you a copy of my marketing plan as well as our list of incentives. And we'd love to earn your business. When I come back, just a few minutes left here on the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
Hear the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show every Saturday morning at 9 and each Sunday morning at 10 on 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.